Yo, what is good, people? So it's war number 7 of the season. We're up against NY231, and yeah, we're doing pretty well. Our record's 4 wins, 2 losses for the season. We obviously want to keep the wins rolling, keep our position in Masters secure. And yeah, for myself, you can see I've got a team of Cap, Infinity War, Nebula, and Thing. Got 5 fights coming up this war, so yeah, let's get into them, I guess. First up, I have this Mr. Sinister here on path 6A, and I'm going to be taking this one with Nebula. So he's got aggression prowess and critical setup being the 2 key nodes here. And yeah, for Nebula, essentially this is a pretty straightforward fight. She's sick and tired, so that will mean she'll be able to get the heal block on him when she has enough shocks. Another thing that will help you for this fight as well is Mr. Sinister throwing his special ones will actually reflect those shocks back at you. And Nebula's obviously shock immune, but when the shocks apply to her, it will actually help ramp her amp charges back up again. And so, yeah, it really does make this fight a pretty smooth one, as you'll see when the footage loads up for it. But yeah, there's nothing too much to it other than kind of, get your usual combos in, build your amp charges as you go, keep aggression prowess down as best as you can, so focus on managing that as well. You see here as well, I went for a power start 1 boost. Really don't think it's necessary for this fight, especially now that I've done it, but it was just something that obviously was just an extra precaution. You see here we're at 2 bars of power, and if anything, maybe wasn't, it was maybe less helpful having the power start 1, because it just meant got to the special 2 quicker, and obviously couldn't ramp my amp charges as much. But you see here, yeah, even with the not really fully ramped, big damage. He's also conduit, so yeah, it's just good to have Nebula there for that sick and tired tactic. And yeah, like I say as well, the special one there, you see reflecting the shocks back at me, ramping me back up and allowing me to go back in again. Get charged back up a little bit here again, and yeah, we just get a few more charges, and then we're going to finish him here. Just parry, special 2, and yeah, deleted. So pretty straightforward fight to start the war. Always I find quite nice when you have one that just is pretty straightforward, not too much about it, just to get you warmed up, I guess. But obviously, like, you do your duels and stuff anyway to try and warm yourself up, but yeah, just gives you a nice little bit of confidence going in. But yeah, second fight of the war, we have America Chavez, miniboss here. She's got ebb and flow knockdown, so we obviously want to be knocking her down. She's also got right back at it, which means she'll go debuff immune when you do knock her down, which is why we've got this Wags pre-fight here. Pretty important to have. She's also got aggression prowess. Now, obviously, if you remember my nightmare war, I think it was war 4 of the season against Matrix, I had a horror show. I took this fight with Thing, and it was one of the deaths. I gave up that war. You see here as well, she started the fight off with a heavy, not ideal, but what I did is bait another heavy, just to make sure I could get her into this orange dimension rather than the purplish one, just so her special 2s won't be unblockable. And we see here, she's reached 2 bars of power, we can just block it. Does hurt, thanks to Cap Infinity War having the glancing. It didn't hurt as much as it probably could have, especially with 8 prowess built up there, but yeah, we get this fight kind of back under control now as well. Knocking her down. At this point, yeah, we do want to just get the special 2 off to finish it. Yeah, we had to get the Fury back up there and remove protection. Yeah, and we seal the fight out. Now, I think I mentioned before how this kind of fight would be one you'd want invulnerability boost for usually, but I think with Cap Infinity War, having the power start 1 from the last fight just meant I can get to his big special 2 kind of quicker, was the thought as well, before the fight can potentially get out of hand. But yeah, always one America Chavez, especially there, just one worth considering invulnerability boost for. But right, we're now on to the third fight of the war, and we've got another mini boss here in Tigra. She's on hazard shift, conflictor, crumbling armor. So hazard shift and crumbling armor mean nothing because I'm going to be using Thing. He's immune to the shock and bleed from hazard shift, and he's armor break immune as well, so not affected there. But yeah, going into this one, the one thing as well I didn't think about is the bleeds from the hazard shift are obviously going to help ramp Thing up, because they're going to remove rock stacks and exchange them for building his furies. So yeah, that just means he can get this fight down a bit quicker than I probably would have expected and then I was feeling in duels. But yeah, this one is pretty straightforward thing. Obviously the main thing to watch is Conflictor, but we have a House of X pre-fight there again, so we don't have to worry about stuns getting shrugged and giving her more power. And then I'm not going to throw special to this fight as well. The reason being, this special 2, yeah, like, you know, and special 3, they give you buffs, and those buffs will just obviously expire and feed her MD even more, and just make it a bit more difficult to manage as you're having to bait more of her specials, and her specials are really ones that can like push you back quite quickly, so you don't want to get cornered. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this fight. It is just going to be a case of trying to keep my rock stacks up, parry, get my hits in, try and bait her special 1 as much as possible. That's the one I'm most comfortable dexing. But yeah, it's just really trying to watch on spacing as well. But you see, like, the fight's barely started and we've already got 20% off her. The Fury's going to ramp up. She's not got the biggest health pool in the world, and yeah, the thing, pretty straightforward fight, I'd say. It's Tigra. There's always a chance you can get cornered and it can go wrong. Definitely one of the defenders who I hate fighting the most, but no, this fight will go pretty smoothly. And yeah, there's not really much else to add, going down pretty quickly as well, so I'll be back for the next fight. Alright, so my fourth fight of the war. Sorry, bit of confusion there, I had to try and remember how many I've done. But yeah, fourth fight of the war. This is up against Magneto here on Hazard Shift, Shock, Bleed, and also One Eye Open. So naturally we can get some parries in at the start to build our rock stacks, but after this, obviously, when we're actually trying to get damage in on him, we do not want to be hitting into him while he's stunned, because that damage gets reflected at us because of the One Eye Open node. But yeah, other than that, pretty straightforward fight. Again, the bleeds phase we're going to be immune to. They're going to be taking away rock stacks and giving us furies, ramping us up in terms of damage. Here as well, you'll notice I do try and get the special 2s off with 15 or more rock stacks, just because that will apply the stagger to him, but I do want to avoid throwing it when I have 20 rock stacks, because that would actually stun him as well. So yeah, naturally, just something to try and manage with the rock stacks and when I throw my special 2. That was the original plan, at least. Then I remembered he's conduit, so I don't want to be knocking him down. So yeah, that was kind of the mindset going into the fight. I realised, yeah, he's conduit, we don't want to be knocking him down. That probably slowed our fight down a little bit, but nonetheless, we now switched up plan to go for just the special 3s. And yeah, that should probably have been the plan from the start. But yeah, at this point as well, this is a fight I've usually taken with Cap Infinity War. So the one thing that we have to watch out for here is just his unstoppables and trying to get those openings. But you know, in the worst case, I do try to hit into him and hit into his unstoppable, and he punishes me. You know, with my rock stacks, I will also become unstoppable. And can basically just use those as like counter punch charges. Leads to a bit more damage being taken, but yeah, not the worst. And yeah, in terms of just getting your openings, does mean you'll still get them. But you see, there will be quite a few attempts to get the intercepts in here. Just make sure I'm not relying on that too much. But yeah, get around to the special 3, and this one does finish him off. So nice, pretty clean and straightforward solo here. And yeah, like I said, probably from the start of the fight should have been going for the special 3 because yeah, conduit for Magneto there means we don't want to be knocking him down outside of those special 3 knockdowns won't count. So 5th and final fight of the war is going to be a void here on also 9B. He's got the hazard shift, shock bleed as well. He's got nerves of steel. But Nebula is just going to crush this one. You see there as well, just quickly checking my do not disturb was on, because I don't know why I got a notification there about the previous screen recording. Do not disturb, should have blocked that. But yeah, just because I usually put it on for war fights just so I don't get like messages popping up and distracting me, anything like that, or like a call coming through mid-fight. But yeah, we go in here with Nebula, and yeah, it's going to be a really straightforward fight. The shock phase of the hazard shift is just going to ramp us up in terms of just giving us amp charges for free. So the main thing here is actually just don't focus too much on my amp charges because they're going to get ramped up fairly naturally, but just really focus on keeping my 10 hit combos managed in good timing to make sure I don't have debuffs on me for too long. But yeah, here we see a little bit behind on that, but we get the special 2 off and he just melts. So yeah, very quick, very straightforward fight for Nebula. And we get our 5 out of 5 solos. And most importantly, as an alliance, we get the win. Again, some kind of weird, sloppy deaths. But also, you know, I think there was one fight I know that went quite bad just because it was a tricky fight I think we hadn't really experienced before. So yeah, things to learn from naturally, but that's fine. It was a nice, clean win, clear, obviously. And that puts us 5-2 now for the season. And yeah, in a really good spot. We're in the top 10 for Masters, I think. We're ranked 7th specifically. So yeah, just got to keep going and hopefully we can finish the season in the Masters spot. For myself as well, it does mean now I'm out of 7 wars. I have managed to go 6 of them deathless. So in terms of consistency, that is a lot better for me compared to previous seasons. Just that one horror show still being a bit of a blotch on my record this season. But nonetheless, we keep moving. We keep growing in confidence and hopefully, yeah, get that Masters finish. But that'll be all for this one. Take care and I'll see you in the next video.